Okay.
Okay, we'll call the meeting of the Transportation Coordinating Committee to order. Written material been completed in advance and handed out to you. And this meeting may inadvertently cause a quorum of other county committees or the county board of supervisors. No business decisions of other committees or the board of supervisors will be conducted at this meeting. And the attendance sheet, I believe, has circulated.
Melissa, thank you.
Does this need to go to anybody else?
Shannon.
From this meeting and all other meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes so that the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. We have an agenda in front of you.
Mark moves to approve the agenda as presented.
Been moved by Supervisor Morton to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Carl or Bill.
Either or.
It was a photo finish. Okay. Those in favor of the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Then the minutes of the meeting of the 18th of January were on your iPad. If you've had a chance to look those over and see no problems with those, entertain a motion to approve them as written.
Moves to approve.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
and second by Bill. Any discussion of anything in those minutes? Seeing none, those in favor of the minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And they are approved. Public comment.
Okay. My name is Jane Hosh. I'm with the Greater Wapaka Area Parks and Trails, which has been in existence since 2018. And I'm a little disoriented this morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep. And those of you who know Jane and Mark Morrow, their house burned down yesterday. And I've been trying to help them start getting stuff together. So anyway, what I'm here for is to talk to you about the Trishaw. I gave you several handouts. I think I remember what they are. One is an article from Wisconsin Bike Fed, which has a division called Cycling Without Age. And there are some nice pictures in there with the bikes. Some of them have the ADRC emblem on them. They've got them in Point, they've got them in Clover, they've got them in Appleton and lots of other places in the state. We've been trying to get a couple of them here. I gave you a budget that we've worked out what we're aiming for, because it's not just Wapaka that wants it. It's King, Wapaka, various senior places around. Bethany has something similar at their place, and the city of Waiwega is interested. What we'd like to do is have a trailer that would hold both of them, rent a storage unit that we could keep it in, and then volunteers with hitches would be the ones to take it around. And then there are the volunteers to ride the bike. You can see the picture of it. The bike person is called a pilot, and we've had several people sign up for it already to do that. And they train them in Appleton at the Wisconsin Bike Fed there. I gave you the budget, the article. I gave you a sheet on insurance, because that's a big question people ask, how that's worked out in these various places. And then I didn't keep a copy. I gave you one more thing. Oh, here. It's insurance. Oh, a letter that Laura Colbert, the City of Wapaka Rec Director, wrote for us when we applied for a grant from, it was a healthcare place. We were denied. But, she wrote that letter. I didn't get it in time to send it with our application, but I'm using it with other, other people because it was such a nice letter. What else can I tell you about this? We would have to, I checked with, Adventure Outfitters to see how much it would cost to maintain it, and he said about $70 a year, which isn't bad. It's electric assist. I've ridden on it, not driven, I didn't drive it, but I rode on the front of it. And the nice thing about Laura's letter, which didn't even occur to me, but she'd really like to use it for disabled kids. And the people that have taken people on rides, they said the thrill for the people that have not been able to get out in the fresh air and go somewhere is just amazing. And we are also, our group is working on we're working on our second trail. The first one is the Massacat Trail. That's a Menominee name for crossing over water, and it goes up to Ogdensburg, Scandinavia and back to town. It's 29 miles. And that one does have some hills on it, but when I rode on this bike, they got up hills in town, like down from Cooper Street up. But the second route we're doing is the Wapawega Trail. And that is running from right across from the Tech over to Peterson Park in Wapawega on the south side of Highway 10. And it comes back on the north side of Highway 10. And that is a fairly flat route. And it's perfectly conceivable that a Trishaw could make that trip. And that would really be exciting for somebody who's been able to bike in the past, like me, and can't do it anymore, to be able to go on a ride like that. So there's lots of places it could be used. And they did bring Wisconsin Bike Fed, brought it out to Wapaka one day last summer at the farmer's market. And they took a bunch of people on rides. And the one that I remember is Patty and Steve House. Steve just recently passed away, but Steve has had dementia for a while, and Patty was so thrilled to be able to take him on a bike ride. And then she offered to pilot. So what questions do you have?
You're not actually able to ask questions. We're not able to ask questions.
Oh, you're not able to ask questions. Okay, I get it. So anyway, we're trying to get some funding for whatever we can, so that we can ask tell some other people who might be able to give us a little. We've gotten about $100 so far from volunteers, from people at the farmer's market. Actually, we are at the farmer's market once a month during the summer, and it's a great connection for people interested in biking. What else? I don't know, it's just been really well received by people that have seen it, and people have run into me and said, are you getting anywhere with this? When are we gonna get one? So we just appreciate any consideration you could give us. So, okay. That's all you want.
Thank you for coming today.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to see you here, because I see Jane probably 3 or 4 times a week at the fitness center. And she's a super quick reader. She's always doing her exercises, reading books, and
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be there.
You guys are both getting in shape to be pilots, huh?
Stuff out of contact your phone.
Oh, good question. Did I give you nothing to contact us? That's real intelligent.
I'm not sure what.
Let me give you our website. I don't know.
What I can do, Jane, is I can send an email to the group after with her contact information and the website.
You've got all
I
that?
can give them all.
Okay, that would be great. See, I'm not on the ball today.
I think you're doing great.
Oh, yeah. I used to do a lot of biking. And take kids biking. But it ain't happening no more.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, and you guys have a good meeting.
We'll see you, Jane.
All right, yep, I'll see you soon.
Okay. Moving on to the. Is that point 3 still there?
We're tabling it until the next meeting.
Okay.
Mhm.
Point 3 is going to be tabled until the next meeting because of the changeover of new members to this particular committee and some of the old mossback ones are leaving.
No. There are going to be some rather big shoes that are gonna need to be filled throughout the county, this committee included in that. So the county board is going to be meeting on next week, Tuesday, on April 16th, where the new county board supervisors will be sworn in. At that time, the county board chairperson will be voted on at that time. The committee on committees will then make the decision on the county board supervisor who will represent our committee here, the Transportation Committee. Because this group, the Transportation Coordinating Committee, will not meet within 30 days of that date when the county board supervisor is appointed to this committee. A county board, or a chairperson for this group will be appointed at that same time. So the next time we meet, we actually will not need to have an election. We will already have our chairperson for us already. So I goofed up, put it on the agenda. I went too quickly, so sorry about that.
As usual, you're right out ahead of it.
I know, right? Too fast.
Okay, transportation operation updates.
Yes, so I'm gonna switch up a little bit how the information for our rides is reported to you guys. Having the detailed information, I think each month, it's hard to see the trends when you're looking at them so closely. You can see small changes in the months with the number of riders and number of rides that we've provided. This year, I'm going to start by providing you with quarterly information and comparing it to what we did last year. So you can see a side-by-side comparison that encompasses, I think it's easier to compare the numbers this way than it was how I had given it to you guys before. If what I'm providing you doesn't hit the mark, if you have questions or would like other information, more information, please let me know. I'd be happy to adjust as needed. So you can see from comparing first quarter of 2024 to first quarter of last year, the total number of rides has increased significantly. We have over 200 additional rides that were provided in first quarter. And we have several new riders, one new volunteer. So we're doing all of these additional rides with only one more person, with the total number of hours that our volunteers are providing to the program, to our riders, of well over 200 additional hours. We did get 48 new riders, which is substantial. It is only 2 more than last year, but 48 riders within a 3-month period is quite a few people. So notably, with regard to our trips, remember that the rides that we're providing are of all different lengths. Sometimes we're providing transportation for folks to go to Milwaukee, to go to Madison. Sometimes we're providing folks transportation to just go to Appleton or Green Bay. I say just, that's still a drive. But what Jana, I was talking with Jana yesterday and she was telling me what she's seeing is some of those folks that were making trips to Milwaukee and Madison, some of those riders have been able to move their doctors closer. So when we don't have a driver out for an entire day, they can take additional people. So I think that that's an easy way for us to shift, not necessarily needing more people, more volunteers to do those rides, but they're not having to go as far of distances for some of those appointments. So that's an overall summary of what we've been doing for first quarter. Jana continues to have medical transportation being the by far the most requested, which goes without saying, I think, but just to reiterate that, the second most common ride that she receives is requests for shopping, groceries, those essential, those requests for essential transportation for grocery shopping and those other personal care items. Anything else notable that I didn't mention, Jana?
No, I think just, and we'll get to it, probably just the Kevin thing, but that's on the agenda.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we'll be
I think
talking.
that's it.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for
I do.
Jana or I? You do? Okay, okay. It's not so busy.
Summarizes it, but did you see the picture here? of-
Yes,
Are we getting more riders or
yes,
more drivers?
yes. It's less numbers, which which helps me
Keeps it
kind of
simple.
follow it. It does simplify it. Yes, yes. Well, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it.
Okay,
So, yeah.
move on to the information about Keppin's medical transport.
So sadly, Dick Keppens, has passed away. So I made a call to Keppens last week just to see, what the status is, kind of what their plan is. I spoke to Christy, who's been with Keppens 19 years of the 40 years they've been in business. And they made the decision, Dick's son is somewhat involved in the business, and his wife works with Keppens part-time, but there's really nobody in their family that's interested in taking it over. So sadly, last Friday was their last day of operation. I happened to notice that their website is still live, but I know they've got 15 vehicles and 13 drivers, and they're not at a point where they know what their next step is, just that they've closed the doors. And I know most of their business, probably 100% of it, was not self-pay. It was like family services, like community care, Lakeland Care, Inclusa. I did let Christy at Keppens know that if any of their drivers would be interested in volunteer driving for Wapaka, that we'd love to have them. I've talked to Jeff at Metro Medical. He's getting calls every day this week from Keppens riders, just asking, what happened, and he's booked pretty solid. And I've also spoke to Wapaka Taxi. Since Keppens has shut down last week, their wheelchair transports in King have tripled. And they're doing everything they can, to stay ahead of it. They have mentioned that Abby Van is, even though they're based out of Neelsville, one of their taxi drivers also drives for Abby Van, and he has a vehicle here in town too. So that's just kind of what I've heard. I heard allegedly that there's somebody from Wapaka interested in purchasing, but I don't know that, I don't know what'll come, with it, but it'd be nice if maybe an Abby Van or somebody purchased it.
It all happened very quickly.
Last Friday.
So
Yeah.
Jana, thank you for providing us with and gathering quickly that information for us. We really do appreciate it.
Mhm.
So the effect that this closure has on the people that we serve through our program here. Last year, the whole year, we we worked with Keppens for 2 rides.
Mhm.
All the rest of the rides that were wheelchair transport. We used Metro Transport
Mhm.
out of New London for all of the other rides. the reason that we weren't able to use Kevin's medical transportation more was they were booked. So if Janet is calling in there, they don't have any availability. She needs to move on
Right.
elsewhere.
And with these medical transports too, you know, they base their fees and understandably on mileage. And where, you know, the vehicles are based out of and the drivers. And a lot of our medical transport rides are closer to Wapaka. So New London is also closer than Clintonville would be. So economically too.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
Economically and the availability. But medical transports really have to be booked almost 2 weeks in advance because of the availability is tough. But you know, with the Wapaka taxi and their wheelchair van, you know, they can usually accommodate somewhat like the day before, like they're doing for King.
So the most immediate effect I think that it's gonna have on our people is the availability of Metro right now with the busyness that they're going to experience from taking on the riders that we have coming from Kevin's. So we may have some people that might need to reschedule doctor's appointments potentially. We're going to continue to serve everybody as much as we can. I believe you and I, Shannon, have a meeting. I think we have our monthly check-in meeting next week. So we're gonna be in communication with one another. I'm gonna continue to communicate with our community partners to see what we can do in the interim and ongoing, coming up with a plan on how we serve our people. So just wanted to let you guys know what's going on.
You know, and I really haven't had any calls from Kevin riders or anybody calling directly to me having concerns.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I would guess that there are people out there that are looking at it and thinking about it as an existing business with a reputation
Mhm.
in that, and
Mm-hmm.
it would not surprise me that within the next couple of months or so, we hear about, well, so-and-so's taken over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there, ready to go.
I think there have been calls made to them in that regard. So, you know, hopefully 40 years of business, you know,
Well-established business, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
The best care in the chair,
Yes,
as they say on their
their slogan. Yeah,
slogan.
yeah. Any questions? Thank you, Jana.
Okay, moving on down, we've done the cycling without age.
Okay, so circling back to what Jane was talking to us about with that bicycle. She had contacted me a few months ago asking for the ADRC to make a donation for the purchase of a bike. The ADRC doesn't have funding to donate towards the purchase of a bike. I have since learned that through our transportation program trust fund, it is an allowable purchase to use our trust fund money to purchase a Trishaw bicycle. There's a lot of information out there about the program Cycling Without Age, which is a program that operates that specific bicycle that Jane was talking about this morning. I have just begun to scratch the surface of what all of this looks like. So I thought I would just kind of give you a high level overview of what Cycling Without Age is. Jane mentioned a lot of it, but a little less details and kind of more of a general idea of what we're looking at. And then at the end, ask the question of how this group would like me to proceed. So Cycling Without Age is a program that started back in 2012 in Denmark. It was provided as a way for elderly folks to get back on bicycles when they had limited mobility. The bikes were used to help get non-driving older adults, and those with physical disabilities out into the fresh air. So not only getting them to where they needed to be, but getting them outside and getting some fresh air. That's how it all started. And soon after that, Cycling Without Age became a program that was adopted worldwide. So within our country, we have many agencies that are operating Cycling Without Age throughout our country. The most number of Trishaw bicycles operating Cycling Without Age is actually right here in Wisconsin. Like Jane had said, there are many ADRCs that operate or have owned and operate those Trishaw bicycles. Bethany Home, right here in Wapaka, they operate 2 Trishaw, you have 2. And Bethany is looking at purchasing a 3rd Trishaw as well. The Cycling Without Age, they do offer grants that agencies can apply for. There are training programs for the pilots. There are a lot of information about fundraising, anywhere from fundraising to samples of liability forms, and everything in between. So Cycling Without Age has been around a long time. A lot of people have adopted this program. And the great thing is folks that have done this program are sharing their information, so others can utilize it. The questions that I have initially as I was looking through this information, that again, just starting to address the surface of what questions I have from what I was reading. We don't know what other funding is available, so I don't know that we necessarily would need to use the trust fund money to fund this operation. I think there may be other opportunities for funding and grants available. I did send an email to Cycling Without Age. They responded to me this morning and said there is a deadline tomorrow for an application to request funding for a Trishaw bicycle. They didn't say how much that grant would be for, but welcome to submit an application if we were interested. The insurance and liability with the bike is a big question for me, especially as it's relating to being in a trailer, transported to other places, keeping in mind, if we decided as a committee, as the Transportation Coordinating Committee, if we decided that we wanted to purchase a bicycle, we need to make sure that that bicycle is available countywide. We can't just have it be provided just focused in King or the community of Wapaka. So we would need to come up with a system on how we can have it available for the entire county. Community partners, are there community partners that might be interested in helping share the load of this a little bit? I did have a brief conversation with Laura Colbert from her letter of support that you guys got here. I did reach out to her to see if the senior center might be interested in helping to partner to potentially help get the word out about the bicycle. They are very interested. They too have a lot of questions with liability and all of that. Like I had shared with them, they also have those same questions. So my question for this group is, would you like me to continue looking into getting some answers to these questions? I certainly can go forward in doing that. I did ask for a quote on what one bicycle would cost, and it's over $14,000 for one bike. So our trust fund right now is about $62,000, estimated at 62.
I do know 5310 covers it also.
Yes,
Then you'd also need the trailer to get it around.
right. Right. So
In insurance, yeah.
the trust fund could be used. If we wanted to go that route, it could be used for that initial purchase of a trailer and potentially a bike. But the ongoing maintenance, rental of a storage facility, those ongoing expenses, we wouldn't be able to use the trust fund for that. That would need to be funded, either through our as budgeted expenses, for the year, or we have to figure out something
Something.
different way.
If you have a lot of questions, I've been working on our program since the bottom up. So Lutheran Social Services might be a good resource for you for individual, because a lot of the Cycling Without Age trishaws are attached to a living facility.
Yes.
And you seem to be looking at modeling, or not modeling, but replicating what we have, because we're not attached. So we can travel. We do have a trailer. It sounds like everything you want to do, we've done.
Awesome.
So please feel free to reach out.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I didn't want to go down because there's so much information. There's so much out there. Thank you so much for that offer. I appreciate it. I didn't want to go too far in depth and take up a whole lot of time in looking into this if this body wasn't interested in moving forward with it. So I paused where I got, as far as I got, to see if you guys would like me to continue looking into this or not.
I see it as a good idea. As far as the trailer and storage and stuff, I just had the privilege of going from a 1-car garage to a 4-car garage. So I would have a place that if need be, you could temporarily store it. I have an enclosed trailer, 14-foot trailer, and pickup that anytime that it needed to be moved, as long as I knew ahead of time, so I wasn't planning it for my own use. You know, I would be willing to share that with the community until something can be arranged to purchase or, you know, find a place, permanent home for it.
Okay, that's mighty generous, Bill. Thank you.
We all got to give back.
Thank you.
We've got a pilot right here for the.
I'll talk to Dave.
All right, if you're looking for a writer, Julia, all right. I agree. I also think it's a good idea, you know, longer range, gather more information.
Yep.
But continue working on it.
Okay, so this body only meets quarterly. I shouldn't say only, this body meets quarterly, so that will give me some time to get together with Shannon, reach out to some other community partners. I will try to do as thorough of a job as I can in coming back with more of the details to see what we would like to do going forward. And in the meantime, then, would it be okay with this group if I did submit to make the ask if Cycling Without Age would award us some funding through the grant that closes tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
the worst they can do is say no.
Right, that's kind of what I thought, yeah.
Is it a lengthy?
Pretty basic information. They need a little bit of a narrative from me talking about our community and how it would be used. And then just basic information about our agency and size of our county and things. So how many people we'd be able to serve.
Is that deadline feasible for you?
I can make it work. Thanks for asking, Regina.
It seems pretty late.
Well, and maybe Shannon can help you with that too. Have you done?
Not our funding, we have quite a few sources of funding. I know one of our larger ones is the Packers. We're part of their funding, Fox Cities Greenways, Bike Fed. There's numerous pots. Yeah, so we've done this, so really use us as a resource.
Wonderful.
Is the insurance a big thing or not too much?
Our insurance is run through Lutheran Social Services as another program. And it does cover us in different locations. We do not have to be on our property to be covered. As far as storing the bikes, we just store them in the trailer and park it in our parking lot. You have a beautiful parking lot. That's what I would suggest you do. That gives access to all the pilots when they need to at any time, and it's a central location. I will say getting them in a trailer took some effort because they have to be secured well, and they're very expensive bikes, so we've had to train people on how to put them in the trailer appropriately. So that's something to think about. The pilot training is a bit extensive. Getting pilots isn't difficult. People love this program. Riders, same, and you'll have attendance in this program. That won't be a problem. It's the logistics that you're talking about. We may even be able to work together. We have a system in place for booking.
Okay.
I'm offering the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
So maybe some of the coordination we could help do. We are in Wapaka County, so I think it would be within our ability to help.
That would be fantastic. I did see in some of my initial research that Cycling Without Age, like I said, they have an extensive website with a lot of information, but one of the things that they had on it was their training that they offer for pilots. And there are actually 2 trainings that are offered within the next couple of weeks. So we'll just, it is a possibility. So we don't need to rush it. It looks like something that they do provide on an ongoing basis. So,
If they do have that training for pilot training in Denmark, I'd be available.
okay.
We had a designated person from Wisconsin Bike Fed that was kind of dedicated to our program for the training.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
So, yeah, it's pretty well-oiled machine that we've been working on. We've probably had it for 5 years now.
Okay. Wow, that's a while.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to checking more about it. Wonderful.
Based on the things that we just said, let me throw this in, and that's that right now my trailer is set up to haul my trike.
Okay.
So it's set up to haul a 2,000-pound motorcycle.
Sure.
And I've got the tie downs and everything, and as long as it's not more than 5 feet wide, it'll fit in the trailer.
No, it's not. I will say, like, one of our best stories that I had was a woman who was on hospice, and her husband wanted to take her out for their final ride, and she passed away 2 days after. So it was really, it's beautiful. It will add so much to your community. It's like I get choked up
Yeah.
because it helps people just be
So much more than you think of just a ride.
It really is. And the pilots get as much out of it as the riders. It's my favorite program. I could talk all day.
And it looks like it fits on just like a regular standard sidewalk.
It does. And she had brought up the concern of hills. There's been one time in the 5 years that somebody had to get off the bike and push it up a hill, but it was steep. I mean, it was down a valley and up a valley.
Okay.
But other than that, hills have not been an issue. That power assist gives a good boost and it gets them up the hill. So all the trails she was talking about are feasible.
Wonderful.
Well, if you decide to go down this direction, and even before you make a firm commitment, I would think some information to the newspaper. Because like myself, until Jane brought it up, I had no idea about this program. And not only would you get potential riders, but you might even get potential money.
Right.
Right, yeah. I know that Jane has reached out to some agencies. I don't know to what extent. But I do think that once people know about it, I agree that there's gonna be an interest for sure.
We have a lot of residential facilities reaching out to us because they can't afford the bikes themselves. but we can still go to the residents and offer multiple rides in a day for their residents. So you would also be helping the community in that sense of you're helping the different residential communities.
That's wonderful. All right, well, I will be back with some more information for everybody then. Thank you.
5-year transportation coordination plan, is there anything on that today?
Just a few updates. Jana continues to keep our community partners, our different facilities around the area, stocked with making sure that they have flyers, making sure they know about our program and have our information. Jana is starting to look into the cost for an ad for the Wapaka County Post. If it's not too costly, we would like to put an ad in there to get people to call and request rides. When we've done advertising before in the paper, it has been asking for volunteers. So this is asking for riders, which is not something that in my time working with Jana, we haven't done that.
No,
Because we've been hurting for riders for a long time, or volunteers for a long time.
we did get the one time we did advertise in it, I had the best response that I've had, versus radio or buyer's guide. We got a great response from it.
We could put in a little caveat and a little sentence in there. If you're looking to volunteer, we'll take you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One of the other goals that we have on our plan is to expand our services on the weekends and evenings and late nights. Jana continues to fulfill 100% of the ride requests that she gets. So we are meeting that need, and I am having regularly scheduled meetings with Theta Care, talking about serving our senior population and individuals with special needs, just generally speaking. So transportation is one of the pieces that I'm talking with them with, making sure that there isn't a gap in services. And then the other part within our 5-year plan goals is to expand public transportation options for folks. And one of the things that recently the Catch a Ride program has done is they have contracted with our local taxi cab companies in being able to provide more affordable options for folks for transportation, not just folks that we serve, but countywide in wheelchair transportation and regular vehicle transportation, not
Extending their rates.
Right, extending their rates to, thank you, Jana, to the taxi. Catch a Ride program has a reduced rate for their rides, and they've contracted with the taxi companies to make that the same rate with them. That was all of my updates.
Okay, before we adjourn, this will be my last meeting if you are not aware of that. And it's been 20 years on this committee. The only one that I think has been here longer is Carl. You were here when I came.
Yeah.
And if you're a county board supervisor, you're on numerous committees. This is one I've always liked because you can immediately see some really good being done for people. Rides and other things like that. And we're fortunate to have people that are administering this, like Jana and certainly Melissa. And it's in good hands that way. And I appreciate all that they've done and all that you've done. And I hope it continues on to higher and bigger things in the future.
Thank you.
Thank
Will
you
be
for your
missed.
service.
Yes.
And I'm hoping you attend sometime just as a public.
When you come and pick me up on the bus.
I will be there in a heartbeat after my training in Denmark.
Okay.
I'll say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
I'll bring both you and your wife in.
Jerry Lee's make shoes to fill.
Huge. You've been such a great mentor and.
Are you talking about my feet again?
Yeah. See ya.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, we entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, it has been made. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you for all your years of service.
Good one, Pat.
And I know I'm gonna see you out in the community.
Then before I forget,
We'll see him on the track.
Bill?
Yeah, right.
this summer is gonna be kind of hectic for me.
Okay, well, you and I can talk about it.
Well, partly I'm changing over to the DA, and partly I'll be going in for cataract surgery, so you
Okay.
might lose me for a couple of months.
Keep me posted. And thanks for taking rain tomorrow.